Hello everyone, it's John, and I want to, earlier this year, I guess in February, I was getting this tree ready for the spring show, and I did some cleaning up of the roots and mossed this tree. So this video is going to be kind of a step-by-step process of how to get a tree ready and apply some moss to it. This tree is a little bit different. It's a elm forest, Yatsubushi elm forest, small leaf, dwarf size, but it's been in a pot for about 20 years, so it does have really good roots. They've just never really been exposed, and it's important to expose the roots so that they can start to get bark on them and start to look aged like the trunk. So what you see here was I was working with a chopstick and actually cleaning some of the dirt and soil, and because it's been so long, it is kind of caked in there. So just using that, you noticed I used a toothbrush there, and then I finally cleaned it off. So this is a little close-up of the forest itself. Starting after a long time, starting to develop some ramification. I've only had this tree about, I think since 2007, so I've had it 3 seasons now. Alright, so it's time to actually put some moss on it, so I'm outside collecting some moss. You can see I'm using the back side of my tweezers just to shovel it out. When I collect moss, I usually will just put it upside down in my sifting tray or my sifting pan. That way, when I get it back, I can rinse the water. I can take my water hose and just rinse the dirt right off the back of it. It goes right through. You don't end up with a bunch of water on it, but you can wash the dirt off. Alright, so final preparation of the soil surface, getting any excess little dirt, gravel, whatever off of there. Now I'm beginning to apply the moss. It's important to really try to make sure the moss makes really good contact with the soil under it. So you put it in place and then you push it down with your fingertips. I'm sitting outside this evening in the garden making this video, so if you hear the pond in the background, um, know that I'm enjoying it. You can see you can want to make sure that the moss meets up. I always try to make sure the seam meets really well, push really good down on the seam. Also on the edge of the pot, if you're going to moss it all the way out to the edge, you should always make sure that there's a little bit of a catch right there on the edge of the lip. That way when you water doesn't just roll right off the edge of the pot, but catches there in the lip and ends up going in. So you can see I'm making some progress getting this mossed. I'm now putting some smaller pieces in between roots. I've worked some of the areas away from the tree, but now I'm trying to get in there. And alright, so at this point I'm going to add some gravel to it. So this is what it looks like after I've added the moss, and now it's time to add a top dressing of gravel. This is a blasting sand from Texas that's used for aquarium gravel. I just sprinkle it on, and I'll use my brush there to kind of pack it or work it down into any of the grooves, furrows between the moss. Of course, you know, you put on extra gravel and you end up wiping a lot of it off, but you'll see here in a minute that it ends up not looking, you know, there's not as much gravel as this when it's finished. So there you go. Alright, so that's really about the ticket there, guys. That's how to moss a tree. So hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. Thanks.